Hello students, this is Dr. Hital Dalal and continuing with the series of lectures on excretory system, today we'll study nephron. Nephron is the structural and functional unit of kidneys, and each kidney has about 1 million nephrons. So, the structural and functional unit of kidneys are the nephrons, and each kidney has about 1 million nephrons in it. The length of nephron is about 3 centimeter. Now you can study nephron into two parts. So nephron can be divided into two main parts, that is Malpighian corpuscle and renal tubules. Now I'll show you over here. Just identify the diagram. Now this portion, this red portion is called glomerulus, and this cup-like structure is called Bowman's capsule. Now together they are called as renal corpuscle or Malpighian corpuscle. Okay. So glomerulus and Bowman's capsule, that is Malpighian corpuscle. Malpighi was an Italian scientist, and after him the name is given. So it is Malpighian corpuscle or renal corpuscle. So this part is renal corpuscle. Now as you can see, this is a diagram of nephron. The rest of the part is like a tube. So this is the tubular part. As this tubule is of kidney, you call it as renal tubules. So this is okay. Two main parts of nephron. The one above the tubule, the red portion, that is glomerulus, and this cup-shaped structure, that is Bowman's capsule, they together are called as renal corpuscle or Malpighian body or corpuscle. Now after this renal corpuscle, you can see this, the way I am directing you, the whole thing is like a tube, and this tubular structure is the renal tubule. Now on the basis of anatomical features and physiological roles, the whole structure can be studied under four headings. First is the Bowman's capsule. Second is PCT or proximal convoluted tubule. Third is loop of Henle. Fourth is distal convoluted tubule. Now let's take up their details one by one. Now Bowman's capsule, this portion. You can see there are two walls. This is the inner wall, this is the outer wall. So this is double walled cup, and this lies in renal cortex. Now I had told you previously, if I draw a small structure of kidney over here, the outer portion is called cortex, and this portion, that is the medulla. So this is cortex. So the nephrons actually are drawn over here. The nephrons are the Bowman's capsule lying in the cortical portion of the kidney, and the rest of the tubule, it lies in the medulla. So here you can see, if I draw a nephron over here, it would be like this, a small portion over here, and then like this, and then the tubule like this. So you can see Bowman's capsule lies in the cortex. Now this Bowman's capsule, this portion, this is the Bowman's capsule, a cup-shaped structure. It is containing a tuft of capillaries. Tuft means bunch of capillaries. Now these capillary is formed by afferent arteriole and efferent arteriole. Now this afferent arteriole is small branch. This is coming from the renal artery, and this is branching further and dividing into several capillaries, and from here it leaves as efferent arteriole. So here you can see the diameters of afferent arteriole and efferent arteriole are different. Afferent arteriole has more diameter than the efferent one. Here I'll give you a hint. Afferent means the arteriole that is arriving inside the Bowman's capsule. So A, arriving arteriole is afferent, and one that is leaving the Bowman's capsule is exiting. So that is efferent. If I write it over here, afferent, this A equals to arrival, arriving, and efferent, that is exiting, that is leaving. So afferent arteriole and efferent arteriole. So what does the Bowman's capsule contain? It contains a tuft of capillaries, and that tuft of capillaries, this portion, it is called glomerulus. Now, the outer wall of Bowman's capsule is in continuation with the rest of renal tubule, right? And the inner wall and the space between this, the space between the two walls of Bowman's capsule is in continuation with the lumen. This is called the lumen. So the outer wall is in continuation with the renal tubule. You can see this is the outer wall. It is continuation with the next part of the tubule. And the space between the two walls of Bowman's capsule, it opens into lumen of the next part of the renal tubule. As you can see it over here. Do you see it over here? This space is joining with this. That is the next part. And this part is called proximal convoluted tubule. So we did everything from here, and I already told you Bowman's capsule and glomerulus together, they are known as renal corpuscle, Malpighian body, or corpuscle. So that is about Bowman's capsule. Now the next part. So we study from here. We completed this portion. This is the region 1. Now second part. So this is it. This twisted part. You can see this part of tubule is highly twisted. And twisted means convoluted. Twisted means convoluted. So I am writing over here. Convoluted is equal to twisted, highly twisted. So this is convoluted tube-like structure, so tubule, and proximal means the part that is nearer to the Malpighian corpuscle, this portion. Do you see this tubule part is nearer to Malpighian corpuscle or body? So this is called proximal. Now you also see another part of the tube that is highly convoluted. This portion, highly twisted. You see another part of tubule that is twisted. So this is called distal. That is distal convoluted tubule. The reason why it is called distal is this distal means it is away from the Malpighian body. Proximal means nearer to the Malpighian body. This is the root now. So this is nearer, so proximal. This is away, so distal. And both these shapes, they are highly twisted. So it is convoluted means twisted, and this is tube-like, so tubule. So proximal convoluted tubule. This is highly convoluted, and as you can see, this blue line, this broken line, I am drawn with blue color. The portion above is cortex and below is the medulla. So you can see PCT and Bowman's capsule, they are in renal cortex. And the wall of PCT is made up of cuboidal epithelium, and this epithelium bears numerous microvilli. So you can say it is cuboidal brush bordered epithelium. So I have written over here, wall is made up of single layer of cuboidal cells bearing lot of microvilli on the surface. If you remember the shape of this cuboidal epithelium, it is something like, I draw cubical cell which lies on basement membrane. There is the nucleus, something like this if you recall. And on its surface, this has microvilli. So this is also known as brush border epithelium. Wherever there is villi, what is the function? We did it in nutrition also. This gives increased surface area. So this brush border epithelium provides larger surface area for absorption. This will take up when we learn formation of urine. So this is about PCT, that is proximal convoluted tubule. Now the next part, you can see a hairpin-like structure. This is a loop, but it looks like it is like a hairpin, something like this. You must have seen such pins. So this is loop. Now, as it was discovered by Henle, it is called loop of Henle. You can see this loop. Now this is U-shaped segment, and you can see over here it is below the cortex. So it lies in medulla. Now there are two limbs. This is one limb and this is another limb. They are parallel to each other. Now this limb of loop of Henle is going down. So it is descending loop of Henle, and this portion it is going upwards again. So it is ascending loop of Henle. Now these two parallel limbs of loop of Henle, this is running deep into, it runs in the medulla. You can see over here, U-shaped segment of the nephron lies in the medulla, has two limbs, they are parallel to each other. Then here there is the descending limb. You can see descending limb, this is very thin. So if you have noticed it very minutely, then this loop, there are thin portions as well as thick and thin portion. Now the descending limb, it is thin, and ascending limb is thin as well as thick. And here I would like to mention the descending limb is, you can see I have written over here, it is thin and it is permeable to water. It allows water to move. And this ascending limb is thick and thin. You have to remember, descending limb is thin and ascending limb is thick and thin. and that is impermeable to water. Do you understand? Thin, permeable to water, thick and thin and impermeable to water. Okay, and then this loop of Henle, now it begins when TCT ends, loop of Henle begins, and it begins in major part, almost the whole part it is in the medulla. When loop of Henle, it once again enters the cortex, then that is the DCT. Okay, so it enters the medulla, that is the descending limb. It re-enters again in the cortex, that is the ascending limb, and descending limb is thin and permeable to water, whereas the ascending limb, you see, if I write down the arrows, see show you the course, it would be like this, and over here it is like this. So this is ascending. Ascending limb is entering the cortex again. Now the next part is the DCT. And DCT, now first of all location, it is above the broken line. So it is lying in the cortex, and this terminal short part. Now this is the, I explain you why it is distal, and this terminal short part of the tubule. If I draw a very straight diagram like this, it is known as collecting tubule. And this collecting tubule joins the collecting duct. This is, if I am not labeled over here, if I label it, it is collecting tubule. And I have drawn, you can see something like this over here, another branch joining over here, that is a collecting duct. These are collecting tubules of several nephrons which is joining this collecting duct. So this is what I have written. It lies in renal cortex, terminal, and is relatively short, and that is collecting tubule, and this opens into the collecting duct. Now collecting duct receives several collecting tubules of other nephrons, the neighboring nephrons. As you know, there are how many nephrons in the kidney? 1 million or 10 lakh each. Now there are two types of nephrons. I am talking about human body. In humans, there are two kinds of nephrons. First are the cortical nephrons, the ones which are the major portion of them is in the cortex, and loop of Henle enters into the medulla but for a very short distance, and the percentage is 85%. And the other type of the nephrons are the juxtamedullary nephrons. Juxta means near. Near what? Medulla. So the glomerulus of these nephrons, it just starts near the medulla, and their loop of Henle, it runs deep and long into the medulla. So those are the juxtamedullary nephrons, and they are about 15%. So these are the types, and this juxtamedullary nephrons are specifically found in those organisms which need to conserve water in their body. I could give you, and I could cite an example of kangaroo rat, which is desert animal. Desert animals have, I would specifically say, kangaroo rat has more of juxtamedullary nephrons. Why? Because the loop of Henle runs more deep and it is longer than the cortical nephrons. If I draw a loop over here, just drawing the loop of Henle, so this part, this is the cortex. I am drawing a nephron over here. This is the cortical nephron, okay? And if I draw juxtamedullary, so it would be, you can see the depth of loop of Henle. So this is the juxtamedullary nephron. Now when when the blood is filtered out from here, it is going to run through this loop of Henle and it provides more time. That is, it is specifically for more absorption of the fluids back into the body, and that conserves water in them. Now, daily about 125 ml of blood per minute is filtered. That amounts to, I would again reframe the sentence. I made a mistake somewhere. The glomerular filtrate, the blood that is entering inside over here, per minute it is 125 ml of blood. This is 125 ml of blood per minute is filtered. That amounts to 180 liters per day. So daily the kidney filters about 180 liters of blood, and the urine output maximally is 1.5 liter. This is the maximum urine output. The range is between 700 or 800 to 1.5 liter. So you can say when filtration, that is 180 liter of blood is filtered, the urine made is only 1.5 liter. So 99% of the fluid that passes, the filtrate that passes through this nephron is absorbed back into the body. So that is the significance of the long loop of Henle in juxtamedullary nephrons. That's all for today regarding nephrons. In the next lecture, we'll take up formation of urine. Till then, stay tuned. Please like, share and subscribe.